Thank you for making your valuable time to watch our webinar, Probing Probiotics, Current Perspective on Future Trends, hosted by Indian Dairy Association, Tamilnadu Chapter. It's a great moment to have Professor Dr. Dorathy Pushparani, Vice Principal and Faculty, Department of Food Chemistry and Food Processing, Loyola College, Chennai. Welcome you, Madam. And I request Geeta Madam to give an introduction on speaker.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. We are glad to welcome the guest speaker, Dr. Dorathy Pushparani, ma'am, Vice Principal, Administration, Faculty of Food Chemistry and Food Processing, Loyola College, Chennai. To introduce Dr. Dorathy, madam, to participants, her field of specialization is dairy microbiology. She worked as scientific officer in Research and Development Center at Britannia Industries Limited for 10 years. She worked as a quality assurance manager at Touch Group, a Tata enterprise for 6 years. She published many research articles in national and international journals. She guided many postgraduate and PhD research scholars. She was a state executive committee member of Indian Dairy Association, Tamilnadu chapter. She is one of the reviewers of Indian Journal of Dairy Science. She is a recipient of Dr. P.J. Paroda Award and Sri Kuliammal Nayakar Prize for her outstanding performance in her undergraduation and post-graduation. She organized and conducted many seminars and training programs. May I invite you for the lecture, ma'am?
So very good morning to all of you. Thank you, Dr. Kanna and Dr. Geeta, for those kind words of welcome. It is very pleasant and very pleasing to be part of this big group of dairy sector people, and I'm very excited to be part of you all to share with you and have a kind of a discussion so we can take forward this dairy industry some more into the future. So we as stakeholders of the dairy sector have a lot to celebrate today. The Indian dairy industry is a global leader in production, and not the least, we also have been the frontline workers of the battle even during the pandemic, further stressing our importance of the dairy sector. We owe a lot of our success to our milkman of India, late Dr.Verghese Kurien. It is indeed my pleasure to be part of this series of webinars conducted by the Indian Dairy Association-Tamilnadu chapter to commemorate the birth centenary of Dr.Verghese Kurien. I'd like to thank the entire team of IDA Tamilnadu chapter for their active work and active involvement in bringing together so many people from diverse sectors, especially the dairy sector, being from the research, from the student background, from the FBO. We're very glad that we sit here, discuss so many things which can help us take forward the dairy industry. A special word of mention to Dr. Charles, Chairman, South Zone IDA, Mr. R.G.S. Ram, Chairman, Tamil Nadu Chapter IDA, and Dr. Kanna, Vice Chairman, IDA, Tamil Nadu Chapter. So it's very exciting and interesting, and I hope we could have a very nice discussion to also take us forward. Just give me a moment to present. So as we all know, the catchword in the food sector is many, starting from what we refer to as co-green, naturally function, and if you see, surprisingly, this probiotic, symbiotics also find a big role and has become a big catchword in the dairy sector today, or rather the food sector and health, and even those who are not associated with the food are very familiar with these terms: probiotics, prebiotics, and symbiotics. So we're going to take a quick look at what is there currently in this probiotic science and how are the future trends in this particular area and how we as people role. I'd like to start by drawing your attention to why I have chosen, or rather the idea has given me this topic, and how I'm going to connect it to all of you present here so it makes it more interesting and lively. So when we look at the food concept today, we are all aware that the relationship between diet and health has taken a new dimension. Today, everybody wants to consume food which is going to give them a benefit. So consumer craze for foods that exert health-promoting effects and are functional are preferred today. And if you see, our market shelves are dominated by food products that support health above and beyond providing basic nutrition. So people today, or even a consumer today, looks at food as something beyond basically satisfying his need or giving him the required nutrition. He's looking for a food on the market which can give him that extra mile of benefit rather than just the nutrition or just the taste and the sensory feel. So this is the concept of food today for a layman or for a consumer who shops for a product. So how do I match this with probiotics? So all of us from the dairy sector are aware that probiotics are live organisms that confer a health benefit to the host. So the interaction of these organisms and the pathophysiological process of disease results in benefits of human host.
Sorry for the interruption, ma'am. Your PPT is not moving.
No, I'm not moving it, sir. Second slide, is that?
Okay, right.
Sir, it's in the second slide, no?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Full screen could be better.
What is it, sir?
Full screen could be better.
It's on full screen, sir. So it's on slideshow?
Yeah.
Okay. So now that we have linked the food concept with a probiotic, I need to take it further and link it to the dairy industry. So we all know historically cultured milk and dairy products are known to have a very positive effect on human health and general well-being. And researchers have proved that the dairy medium is recognized as one of the most appropriate delivery vehicle for probiotics. And developing dairy foods with probiotic is gaining momentum and capturing consumer attention because it is considered a healthy snack, because milk contains all the possible nutrients in it. So it is considered, along with live organisms, it is today considered as a very healthy and very useful snack. So now that we are able to connect and put all these into one picture, this topic on probing probiotics with the current perspectives and future trends will be very ideal for people like us from the dairy sector to know more on. So my contents will be, I just take you back and revisit the concept of probiotics which exists. I would like to take a look at the current landscape of what the probiotic industry has to offer to us, and also leave you with the future of the probiotic science or industry, which we together can collectively work on and provide the world with a better platform in the food sector. Okay, so as I revisit the concept, I know these are terminologies or these are things which all of us have dwelt on and are aware of. The International Scientific Association of Probiotic and Prebiotic gives us or defines probiotic as live organisms which, when administered in adequate amounts, can confer a health benefit to the host. If you see the history or how probiotics have evolved, it dates back to as early as the 76 BC, where we all know fermented milk products with organisms had an evidence of creating a very good health benefit. Further to this, the Nobel laureate, who's recognized as the father of probiotics, started this probiotic concept in the early 20th century. And from there on, there was no looking back, and there has been renewed interest, a lot of research which is happening in the probiotic science, which is continuously evolving. and this has made available to the global food market intended for human consumption numerous probiotic strains and food products rather pertaining to our dairy products, which are available on a commercial level and which can confer the required health benefits. Okay, so very quickly, I'm going to take you through what makes these probiotics so special, or what are the effective characteristics that they must have or retain in order to be called a probiotic. Because the microbial world is huge, there are a number of organisms, but not all these organisms are referred to as probiotics. So what are these, or what are the characteristics that they must have? It should be a non-pathogenic and a non-toxic organism because it is going to be consumed. It should be beneficial to the host, able to maintain a good viability, able to survive passage through the digestive system. It should be able to attach itself to the intestinal epithelia and colonize, able to utilize the nutrients. It should have stability characters because when we say it is going to be given in a food format, the food should undergo processing, storage, and transportation. So we look at these live organisms being viable till the end of the storage period. We also should ensure that these probiotic organisms possess anti-inflammatory, immunostimulatory, and antagonistic features. And above all, they should have genetic and physiological stability. So in short, when an organism has all these traits or a few of these traits, it's considered to be a very effective probiotic. What is the mechanism of action? We all know multiple studies have been done, and it is cornered down to production of organic acid, bacteriocins, completive exclusion, competition for nutrients, stimulation of the immune response system, and louder?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah, tell me.
Your screen is not moving. Slides are stuck in between.
It's okay. Now fine.
Now?
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. So when we look at the mechanism of action, the production of organic acid, production of bacteriocins, competitive exclusion, competition for nutrients, stimulation of your immune response, and altered absorption of intestinal mucosa, wherein there is luminal conversion of the orally taken nutrients into bioactive compounds, which confer the health benefits. So these are the various ways in which probiotics which are consumed have a role to play in our gut system, and they implement the required health benefits. We all are aware that the most common genera are your Bifidobacterium, Lactobacillus, Saccharomyces. Of course, there are few others which are also considered as probiotics, but these are the most common ones and in use regularly. Okay. So as far as the claimed health benefits are concerned, there is a number of studies and research which keeps continuing and which is continually done to confer a number of health benefits to these probiotic organisms. But however, there are two ways in which they exert the required health benefits to the host. One is you directly take in the organism, and because of this organism, it confers the required health benefits, which is referred to as the probiotic effect, or it is done indirectly by us consuming microbial metabolites which produce the required health benefits, referred to as the biogenic effects. If you take a look at this slide, it has various health benefits which probiotics give on consumption. The first important thing is it normalizes your internal or intestinal microbiota, which results in a multiple number of effects. It is immunomodulatory in nature, again resulting in a number of effects. And metabolic effects results in production of a number of compounds like your SCFA, your GABA, and so on, which can also confer health benefits. So these are the various ways in which probiotics confer the required health benefit to the host. Okay, so we are all aware that the dosage depends upon the high number of viable organisms which are recommended. And as we all know, the safety it comes under the GRAS category, generally recognized as safe as of now. However, there has to be new strains which come in, need to be included, and the proper safety and efficacy tests need to be conducted before they are claimed as probiotics. So with this idea or with this conference on what probiotics are and how they act and what are the various health benefits they give you, I just have put up something to show you the extent to which a glass of milk, when it is converted into a probiotic product, the number of health benefits it gives to the host becomes multifold in nature and multidimensional. If you take a look, even a glass of milk is considered highly nutritious. It is considered a complete and balanced food, and the number of benefits it gives are immense. However, when you see this glass of milk being converted into a probiotic product, the number of health benefits along with the nutritional benefits it gives is multidimensional. So this is the reason, or this is what is driving the market, the consumer market today. As I told you, the need to look for products beyond the basic nutrition is very, very essential in the mind of consumers. And that is the reason why probiotics from the dairy sector and symbiotics are going to play a major role. So that's the concept which all of us, I think all of us are aware of these concepts, being most of you being from the dairy sector here. So that is, I just wanted to revisit this and refresh your mind before we move any further. So now that we know how important this probiotic science is, we're going to take a look at what the current landscape of the probiotic industry is all about. So here I'd like to draw your attention to probiotic does not remain as probiotic today. We have the other words which are added in and commonly come in consensus with the probiotic science, the prebiotic and symbiotics. So these three words today go hand in hand and are coined together and seen as a single entity. So probiotic, prebiotic and symbiotic are the words of the modern day era bookmark for life and is in use to define bacterial association with beneficial effects on human health. So this probiotic science has slowly evolved, and today we see it go hand in hand with prebiotic to form products referred to as the symbiotics. Okay. So when I just put this slide to give you an idea of how when you combine both probiotics and prebiotics and give a product which is a symbiotic, it not only protects the probiotic but also gives you the required health benefits. Together, the benefits become multifold. Okay. So now I'd like to take you through the current landscape of what is being done in the probiotic industry today and what we should be aware of. So this probiotics have been used to treat, yes, the minute we talk about probiotic, the thing which comes to our mind is the gut health. And today you see it does not stop with the gut health. We have moved further from there. And there are a number of non-gastrointestinal medical conditions for which probiotic therapy also finds its use, starting from atopic eczema to a number of genitourinary infections also. Slowly, this probiotic science is moving and finding its way in use. Apart from that, a number of emerging target conditions for probiotic therapy include subfertility, the liver disease, mood disorders and depressions. Even today, your mind can be tuned in to taking probiotics and it has a very good health or rather positive effects on your mind health, which is looked at in a very important way. Your cognition abilities, your oral health, asthma, a few respiratory things, as well as for your weight loss and obesity programs. Today, probiotic science therapy has extended, including all these areas in which it finds its use. And today, as I told you, even in the pandemic which is happening, there is a lot of research which is going on to see how we can put this probiotics to use to fight against your COVID-19 infection. So if you see it has or replicates a similar role, an immunomodulatory role similar to that of the vaccine. So today we see that it has not, the probiotic science has not stopped in its health benefit being associated only with the gut health, but has moved further from there, and a lot of exploration in other areas is being carried out. So with the health benefits increasing, we also need to know where we are as far as the regulatory status in India with regard to prebiotics and probiotics is concerned. All of you must be aware that the FSS regulation 2016 has included, before that we were depending on the ICMR and the DST for the regulation. Today we have moved a step further, and even the FSSAI has a regulation in place which gives you a lot of information on when you make probiotic food products, on what it should contain, what are the additives which can be included, so on and so forth. So this is a major step in the regulatory aspect as far as India is concerned. So when you take a look at it, food with probiotic ingredients refers to a food with live microorganisms, as we are all aware of, which is beneficial to human health. It can be a single strain or a combination of strains, and it should confer one or more specified or demonstrated health benefits in human beings. So I'm just going to display the organisms which FSSAI, or rather the FSS regulation, permits to be used in India. So we have a list of 30 organisms. As of today, this is the list. However, this list can be included or excluded based on scientific evidence and further progress in your studies. So this is the most important thing which we have, or rather progressed, and the current scenario in India is very feasible for us to work on probiotic science, because we have a regulatory mechanism which is going to help us. So there's a lot of thing with regard to even whether the probiotics can be harmful or not. However, as we all are aware, it has the GRAS status, but we must be aware that apart from the GRAS status, there are few things which we need to take into consideration when we consume probiotic food. The most important being, for people who are not normal, you need to be careful when you administer probiotics. For an immunocompressed person or a person with some other illness, it is very important. There is lack of solid information on the frequency and severity of side effects. These are not still proven, though they are considered as GRAS. We have to deal with it case by case, and we have to be aware that there could be some harmful effects. The other important thing is, when your probiotic food has the chances of containing any other microorganism other than this, it can be harmful, or it can pose a health risk to the body. So these are things you need to take into account when we work or process and manufacture the important probiotic foods. The biggest current pitfall is the lack of translation from laboratory science to clinical application. All of us are aware we do a lot of research, but it is there only in the lab. This conversion into the industry and finally into application is lacking somewhere, and that is where all of you present here and me together need to work on bridging this gap, because the forum may consist of researchers, people from the industry, people from R&D, students related to the dairy sector, and we no more can keep it only at the lab scale. We have to move forward and take it into the industry as well. Anything? Sir, can I continue?
You can continue. Mute பண்ணிருங்க அவரை.
Sorry. The viable number of microorganisms as permitted by FSSAI should be at the minimum of 10 to the power of 8 CFU. This is important because this number needs to remain till the end of the storage period. This is where, when a research was conducted with a number of probiotic products in India, we were lacking because these numbers were not present. The claim was there as a probiotic food, and sadly, most of the probiotic products failed to reach that particular claim because the numbers were very low. So it's very important that we should be aware that the number of organisms or viable organisms which need to be present has to be greater or equal to 10 to the power of 8 colony forming units, the recommended serving size per day. Okay, so these areas are the main current portfolio which are there as far as probiotic science is concerned. You must remember that probiotic science therapy is expanding into a number of fields. We are even looking at its effect. Could you kindly a request to the participants to mute yourself, please. Thank you. So we are looking at the regulation which is there with us today, and we are also looking at translating whatever research we do at the laboratory scale, making it available to the industry, and also ensure it reaches or sees the markets. Okay, so these are the three areas we really need to work on in order to move forward this probiotic industry. So what does the future hold as far as the probiotic science is concerned? I have divided it into 5 important areas. The first important thing deals with discovery. So when I talk about discovery, I'm talking about discovering new strains, discovering new sources, discovering the novel health benefits and disease targets, and also discovering novel methods by which you can re-engineer your probiotics. So when I look at this, we are giving a lot of focus to development of what we refer to as the new generation probiotics. There are a number of probiotics which are being probed today for its characteristic to be an effective probiotic, and this is where we could apply our research, be it from new food sources, new sources from the human microbiome. So we can generate or we can find novel sources from where we can discover novel strains, because these strains could extend health benefits beyond that what we are cribbed into. Right now we are thinking of only these health benefits. So when we start discovering new generation probiotics, we can also start expanding the benefits it can give to the human health as well as the society in large. And of course, genetically engineered probiotics are the future. However, I pause here because there is a school of thought which is also against genetically engineered probiotics. It is like your GMO foods. It has its benefit, it has its ill effects, but whichever outweighs it, we have to go ahead and use it. The second important thing deals with manufacturing and formulation. So the most important thing will be about converting. So once we discover all these, we need to make it industrially viable. That is very, very important. It's not just about, as I told you, it's not just about doing something at the lab scale. We have to look into its industrial viability also. Novel food framework may enable a path to commercialization. That is very, very important. So labs should be converted into the industry, which should also see the light of the market. There are various delivery technologies and formats. Cheese is considered as one of the most important vehicle because the inherent quality in cheese promotes probiotics to a greater extent. More dairy industry involvement is very, very important because we need to see more dairy products. As we are all aware, the non-dairy sector is also competing a lot in the probiotic market. So unless we do research and come out with new things, it is very difficult for us to survive. Extensive involvement of research organizations is the call or need of the hour. So once we discover, once we manufacture and formulate, it is very important that we evaluate this. As I told you, the regulation has a catch there. If you want to give in any novel species, it has to have scientific evidence and a lot of research and proven facts to ensure it is included. So evaluation in all forms is very, very important. And a lot of research is available, but no health claim. So this is another area which is very, very important. The FDA and the EFSA, both in the US as well as the European countries, they say that probiotic health claim can be made only if it undergoes the same test like a drug. So that is where we are lacking. We all know there are a number of health benefits, but to that extent of proving it with scientific evidence should be done similar to a drug is what they claim. So the regulatory authorities for new generation probiotics should be evolved by us, updating the existing specifications. So you and I could contribute to the Regulatory Authority of India and tell them whatever is required. And finally, to do with implementation, the center word innovation is very, very important. As I told you, there is a lot of competition in the dairy market. I mean, in the market today, in the probiotic market. So we need to stay alive. We need to innovate. We need to create a lot of awareness among a normal consumer and also ensure that there is market demand and growth for these products. I'd like to draw your attention to this very interesting fact of the forecast on the probiotic market. It is to reach a twofold increase between 2019 to 2025. So within the next 4 or 5 years, we see our market, probiotic market, doubling rather. And this is very, very important that we find out products which are going to be new or even reformulate our existing product to suit our customer market. So if you take a look at it, based on the human end use and based on the application of probiotics, you see a rapid increase in this graph. So you see this is going to be the market size within the next 4 years. And even here, if you take a look at it, based on the food and beverage application, among all the products which are there, the probiotic market will see a rapid increase. So this is how the forecast for the probiotic market is, and we should be there as early as possible. Be it researchers, be it people from the industry, we should work because this is a very important and a very well-known science which can be fully exploited and put to full use. So I would say the important takeaways will be probiotics are becoming leaders in the functional food market. There is increased interest in this for maintaining the health gut, which is very, very important. And there is extensive research which is done in the past decade. So as far as the current landscape is concerned, as I told you, the ways in which we can use probiotic or the areas of probiotic therapy seems to be enlarging or expanding. We are very happy to have the FSS regulation in place today, which is going to help us move forward. And whatever we do at the lab scale should see the light of the market and the shelf is what we should work on. And towards the future, we need to find out species which are the new generation probiotics. Genetic engineering could be explored in dairy foods as vehicle for probiotic market should also be done, and it has a very good forecast in the near future. So we need to use it to the maximum. and implementation has a very important role to play, where we should be innovative, creative, create a lot of awareness to people, increase the market demand and growth, because this is not just a science, but it is a healthy science which is beneficial to society in large. So I like to conclude here by talking to you about the product, the research institute, and the key players who are there in the Indian market. So as far as you see, there are a number of products which are there. Yogurt, as you know, is the most important thing. Artisanal curd and Yakult has been there for a long time to stay, and today they have made it Yakult Light, which is vitamin enriched, but still with the same species, which is sweeping the market today. You must be aware, NDRI, the Probiotic India Foundation, is actively involved in research in India, and the NRDC under the DST has taken this initiative of taking whatever research we do from the laboratory and trying to commercialize it. The key players, as you all are aware, are Amul, Yakult, Danone, Nestle, Mother India, and a number of small entities today also market probiotic products. So these are the things which we must be aware of, where research is being carried out, who are the key players in the Indian market, and what are the current products. There are a number of other products. I've just bought in these because these are very recently renovated or reinvented and formulated. So with that, I'd like to conclude by sharing with you also an interesting aspect of my research, wherein I have worked on a UGC minor project dealing with probiotic and gut health. I try to make use of indigenous fruits like the cashew fruit apple and the mango as a prebiotic source, and I try to create a product using sugarcane juice as a natural sweetener, your cashew apple pulp and whey. Using probiotic strains, I was able to get a very good increase of the probiotic count within 4 hours, and it was a very sensorial acceptable product which was very useful with a shelf life of 14 days. However, I would have loved to work on it to increase its potential, meaning I would have wanted to give it as a freeze-dried product, which I would be trying on. So this is a research which I wanted to share with you, wherein I've had an experience of working with it, and this has gained a lot of momentum today, wherein you can use fruits as the prebiotic source. So as I told you today, probiotic science is also very closely associated with the symbiotic science. People are expecting us to give it in a package which is very useful to them. So you could make use of such indigenous fruits also as a natural prebiotic source, convert it into a symbiotic product and make it available. So I once again thank you all for your patient listening, and the floor is open to take in discussions and move it forward. Thank you one and all.
Geeta ma'am, just unmute your mic.
So thank you, madam. I'm Dr. Shankaran speaking.
Tell me, sir.
And regarding this probiotic, now it is available in the market as a medicine, also Bifilac, something like that is being given. And when it is kept in a dried form, the moisture will not be there. Whether it's going to affect the efficacy of that?
Yes, sir, there are medical applications of probiotics also. So you get them also in the drug form, in the form of a powder, in the form of a capsule. But however, that's what I told you. Today, the in thing is naturally functional. People do not like to consume it as a food. I mean, as a drug. They prefer to consume it as a food. And that is where we in the food sector should come in and promote it.
No, whether the moisture is not there, whether it is alive.
Yes, sir, it is. It is lyophilized. Basically, they are freeze-dried powders which are available.
Yes.
It is viable, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Madam, this is Govindan calling from Erode, NDDB.
Tell me,
This
sir.
probiotic powder is available, Herbalife product. It is available, but they advise us to put it in the powder form in the water and take it before breakfast. It is advisable take in the water or some other buttermilk or milk, which is best advisable.
Sir, it could go into any of the medium because you're going to consume all the organisms as such. So when you're going to consume the organism, see, we give it in a dairy medium because we ensure the dairy medium helps it to multiply. So to increase the numbers, we use a dairy medium. However, even in water, because it contains the required amount, it could be taken in with water as well.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
So you're using a dairy medium or a dairy source in order to enhance or increase it during the fermentation process. If you keep it aside for 4 hours, there is an increase in the number of probiotics. But since you're consuming it, it could also be consumed with water because you have the required viable counts initially itself in the sachet. But however, I would say if we convert it and make it available as a food format, it is much more better. Because that's the concept we are trying to drive in. Why should we consume it as a drug when we can have have a healthy snack in the form of a dairy product?
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. So there are a lot of research institutes in India also which do a lot of work on this probiotics. So you see a number of products in the market today: probiotic curd, probiotic dahi, lassi, probiotic milk, and so on. So that's where it's catching up very fast in India too.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for a very informative and elaborative presentation. I hope the doubt of the participants got clarified. Once again, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. I see a number of requests on the chat box for the PPT. I don't know what is your procedure, Dr. Khanna. So whatever is required, you could share it also.
Actually, this program will be available in YouTube, ma'am. I'm Pugalindi. This will be available in YouTube so that the participants can watch the YouTube, the full series.
Thank you, Pugalindi. So it need not be shared then. Thank you.
Yes, madam. Well presented.
Is there any standard for minimum concentration?
Yeah, it's 10. As far as the Indian condition FSS regulation is, it should be greater than or equal to 10 to the power of 8 CFU, sir. 10 to the power of 8 CFU. That is the regulation as far as the Indian condition is concerned. But if you look at foreign authors, they say 10 to the power of 7 to 10 to the power of 11.
Any other question from the participants? Madam is having one more webinar. We have to leave shortly.
But anything I will be willing to answer if they put it on the chat box. I will be willing to answer that, sir. No problem.
Madam, I have a small clarification. This probiotic product is available in the market in the Herbalife. People are telling herbal products. Is it source of herbal also available or clinical laboratory?
Now come again, sir. Is it with a herbal?
Yeah, they claim that it is a herbal product. This probiotic is from herbal product, herbal medium, herbal sources.
Okay.
So whether it is it possible to take it from herbal medium? That's what I would like to know.
Because yeah, there are plant sources also from which probiotics are made available. So as I told you, there are various food sources from which you can get in the probiotic organisms. So even plant sources are considered as a source to get in your probiotic strains.
Okay.
The other area I have not touched on is also the animal health and probiotics because I am not an expert on that. So I think a lot of research is being done with regard to animal health as well as probiotic science in that area, wherein there is weight gain, milk production enhancement, as well as immunomodulatory effect. So that's a whole area of animal health and probiotic science, which is also very important for all of you from the dairy sector. So I once again like to thank the organizers, and I'm very glad to see Charles sir also as part of the webinar. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the opportunity given.
Thank you, Dr. Dorathy.
Thank you, ma'am.
In fact, I could not join in the beginning because I was engaged in some other work. So I could hear only the later part of your presentation.
Okay.
So I am not able to raise any question on it.
Okay.
That's one. Number two, the way you have concluded, it clearly indicates that you have done a lot of work on this subject. And in your presentation, must have been definitely useful to all the participants. Thank you for your effort. And I wish you all the best in your endeavor to take this forward.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for accepting our webinar. You've done very well, ma'am. Thank you very much for the support.
Thank you.
Pushparani, if you have any questions, just drop in the chat box and also mention your email ID so that we will get the answer from the speaker and I will forward to you.
Thank you, sir. If I could leave, it would be good.
And I request our secretary, Mr. Saravanan, to give a vote of thanks.
Good afternoon to one and all. I feel immense in delivering the vote of thanks. I thank Dr. Dorathy Pushparani, Madam, Principal Administration, Faculty Food Chemistry and Food Processing, Loyola College, for enriching our knowledge with his wonderful presentation for probing probiotics. A perspective and future trends. Once again, I thank you very much for your excellent presentation and valuable information about probiotics market. My special thanks to Mr. Khanna, our Vice Chairman, who coordinate and arrange the guest speaker. I like to thank Dr. Geeta Madam to moderate today's webinar. I thank Mr. C.P. Charles, our IDS South Zone Chairman, encouraging always for the source of energy. Thank Mr. Dr. Sankaran sir and executive team members. Thank my executive team members who are all supported to bring this seminar successful one. I thank all members, veterinarians, students, farmers, who are all being with us for today's webinar. And also thank Soundaryan and Renuka of RGS Fates for coordinating in relaying this webinar. And again, this third pandemic situation starting. Wear mask, maintain social distance, and drink milk to boost our immunity. Stay healthy and stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you.